Hello everyone, my name is Marty Luttrell, and I'm creating this podcast to let you know some information about events coming soon to visit our planet Earth. Some devastating events coming our way, and it behooves me to let as many people know about these as possible. Where do I get this information from? Well, I don't have any visions or anything like that. I don't claim to be a prophet, but the Bible does tell us what the Lord is going to do in no uncertain terms. And I base my faith upon the Bible. I believe this earth belongs to the Lord. And the situation we're in, it's become a very wicked, despicable planet. It's crazy out there. What used to be wrong is now right. What used to be right is now wrong. And that's pretty much covering the face of the earth. It's very much like the days of Noah, or in Israel when everybody did what was right in their own mind, in their own eyes. So we got some serious events about to take place. And I'm going to share with you a few verses in Revelation chapter 8 and starting in verse 2. The Bible says, "And I saw 7 angels who stand before God, and 7 trumpets were given to them. Another angel who had a golden censer came and stood at the altar. He was given much incense to offer with the prayer of all God's people on the golden altar in front of the throne. The smoke of the incense, together with the prayers of God's people, went up before God from the angel's hand. Then the angel took the censer, filled it with fire from the altar, and hurled it on the earth. And there came peals of thunder, rumblings, flashes of lightning, and an earthquake." What does this mean? Well, some Bible study, especially in the Old Testament, because this is dealing with the sanctuary language that Israel had set up that sanctuary. The casting down of the censer off of that altar represents the end of corporate atonement, which means that when in heaven's sanctuary, when that event takes place, that there will no longer be God's patience for this earth continuing. And then some horrific judgments. As we read, there's going to be flashes of lightning, rumblings, peals of thunder, and an earthquake. Now, this earthquake is not just going to be like some of the ones that take place today in different places around the world. In Japan, there was a bad one there with the tsunami. This is going to be a worldwide earthquake, because Revelation is a worldwide story. It's going to affect everybody on earth. When the first angel sounds, it says in the next verse, "The first angel sounded his trumpet, and there came hail and fire mixed with blood, and it was hurled down on the earth." That's a meteor that comes into our atmosphere, breaks up, hits a third of the earth, and it's going to cause a lot of fires, burn up a lot of vegetation. A third of the earth, it says, was burned up. A third of the trees were burned up, and all the green grass. Now, green grass can also be translated to be like wheat, barley, those things, crops burned up. That means we're going to be entering into a time period of famine. And I believe these events are very near at hand. The people of earth, the leaders, they don't have any, generally most of them don't have any recognition of God or realize what he is about to do, because his patience with the sin problem is about over. All of these judgments, these first 4 trumpets, the first one looks pretty obvious to me that it's a breaking up meteor that turns into these fiery hailstones that hit the earth. The second one, it says, "The second angel sounded his trumpet, and something like a huge mountain all ablaze was thrown into the sea. A third of the sea turned into blood, a third of the living creatures in the sea died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. What would be a huge mountain all ablaze? Well, that sounds like a meteor. So we're going to have a meteorite shower, and then a meteor that hits the sea. It's going to destroy ships, coastal cities. I believe the sea turning to blood is caused by anoxic. The water becomes anoxic because it's so superheated. And what happens is red algae quickly forms rapidly after this takes place, and the sea will look like blood. It won't actually be blood, but it has the appearance of blood. Again, millions of people dying from these events, from famine and everything on fire in a portion of the earth. The third angel sounded his trumpet, and a great star, blazing like a torch, fell from the sky on a third of the rivers and on the springs of water. The name of the star is Wormwood. A third of the waters turned bitter, and many people died from the waters that had become bitter. That's a fairly simple explanation, and it looks to me like a small comet probably impacts a continent, and the impact shatters the underground water system, and into it leaks, all sorts of buried waste materials, maybe radioactive waste material and sewage and so forth, and corrupts the water supply for somebody, for some area, and the people, need water, and they drink it, and many of them die from the poisonous water. The fourth angel sounded his trumpet, a third of the sun was struck, a third of the moon, and a third of the stars, so a third of them turned dark. A third of the day was without light, and also a third of the night. This sounds like to me a good possibility would be the ring of fire around the Pacific. Those are the volcanoes that are all around the Pacific Ocean. And those things go off. Smoke gets caught up into the jet stream. It goes around the middle part of the earth and just puts that whole section of earth into darkness for days or weeks, possibly months. Horrendous. So these events, I'm expecting them to start almost any time. And I think we need to be ready. We need to get to know Jesus and to make sure that we are walking with him and getting to know his plans, because he's revealing his plans in his book to us so that we can be prepared for what is coming. These events are going to affect everybody on earth. And I'm going to be doing more of these podcasts. I want to keep them short so that folks can have a chance to consider these things and be ready. At the end of this video, I have a little flag on the screen here of a free book that you can call and order. And I think it can be very helpful for your study. All right. Blessings to everyone.